No, it just got all done up. Yes, sir. Calling case number 1960614, the people of the state of Michigan versus Lakeisha Ayers. Defendant number 3 is charged with count 1, kidnapping, count 4, unlawful imprisonment, count 8, weapons, firearms, possession by a felon, count 11, weapons, felony, firearm, count 14, weapons, felony, firearm, count 17, weapons, felony, firearm, habitual offender, second notice. This matter is scheduled for examination.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Carly Cox on behalf of the people, P81911.
Your Honor, good afternoon, and may it please the court. My name is Adam Clements, P number 77233, appearing on behalf of Ms. Ayers. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Lakeisha Ayers.
Ayers, you want to take your jacket off, please? You're wearing a t-shirt. You don't know how to dress the court?
Yes.
Why didn't you? All right, I'll take care of it. I'll readdress the bond.
I understand.
I don't want your apology. I want your respect. I'm not getting it. Problem. And I'll rectify that. Are we ready?
Yes, Your Honor. People are ready to proceed. I just asked for a mutual order of sequestration with an exception for the officer in charge of this case, Police Officer Denver Carlson, who is standing behind me at this time.
Any objection?
None, Judge.
All right, any other witnesses testifying today at trial or any hearing will be court or be denied that future testimony. Give exception to the officer in charge. Okay, Kristen?
Yes, the people called Trina Nelson.
You all right with you?
Should be in that room.
Yeah, I'm here. Step over here, please. Yep. Raise your hand. All right. You swear or affirm that the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
You start right here for the board portion. You have a seat. You got a seat. Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right, Ms. Nelson, you're gonna be asked a series of questions.
Yes, sir.
First by the prosecutor, and the defense attorney will probably ask you some questions. And I may or may not ask you some questions. You have to answer all your questions out loud verbally. That's when you shake your head
All right.
and say,
Okay.
because the young lady sitting next to you, she's recording everything that's said.
Okay.
Okay? Also, when you ask the question, I need you to just answer that question and stop. If it's a yes or no type question, just say yes or no and stop.
Okay.
If they need additional information from you, they'll just ask you another question. All right?
I understand that.
We all have a tendency, when we're talking about an event, especially one that has been dramatic, and around. You know, we'll say this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and we go on like that. If you do that, I'm gonna miss something. If I miss something, I might not make the right decision,
Okay.
okay? I know nothing about the case. Only thing I know about the case is the name, what she's charged. Now I know your name. That's it. Okay, I get all my information from what happens in court. One question, one answer at a time. That way I can understand. Okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Oh, one last thing, because of the mask and the little barriers and all that, and I need you to please keep your voice up so we can hear you. You speak directly into that microphone. Turn it down.
Can you hear me now?
That way I don't have to fight your voice.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
You proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Come on.
Ms. Nelson, I'm going to take you back to August 26, 2019 to August 28, 2019. Were you then in the area of 7500 Palmetto Street in the city of Detroit?
Yes, I was.
And on those dates and at that location, did you know someone by the name of Keisha Ayers?
I don't know her by that name, but I know her now by that name.
How do you know her now by that name?
Because we're in court and that's on my court paper. That's her name.
What's the name that you know Ms. Ayers by?
Nene.
Is Nene present in the courtroom today?
Yes, she is.
Would you please point to her and tell the court what color shirt she's wearing?
She has a black and white shirt on, her braids in her hair.
Your Honor, would the record please reflect that the witness has identified the defendant in this case of Keisha Ayers? Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Nelson, how do you know Ms. Ayers?
I know her from the area, from the hood.
So that area around that location at Palmetto?
Yes.
Is there someone from that area in the hood that you know by the name of Arande Rex?
Excuse me, I understand it.
Is there someone from that area that you know by the name of Arande Rex?
Yes.
How do you know that person?
I used to hang out with him. Come through. Name is, well, Ronald, right? Yeah, I used to hang out with him.
You know him by Drew?
Yes.
Do you know if he has a son?
Yes, I do.
What's his son's name?
Luke. Luke, but his real name is Ronald Rex Sr.
So between Arande Rex Senior, Junior, and Ms. Ayers, did you spend time all together?
Yeah, I know him all together. Yeah. Yes.
So what's at that location at 7500 Palmetto Street?
What's that address?
Yes.
That's where the state of where I lived at.
What was your living situation at that time?
It was decent before all this stuff happened.
Did you own that residence?
I was a renter. I rented the property from the defendant, Ronald Rex Sr.
Was there any sort of arrangement in terms of payment of rent?
Yes, it was cash rent, and what I'll pay him every month. Rent.
So at this location, would you ever do any narcotics or drugs?
I have done narcotics, yes.
Stop. Is she having a immunity agreement?
She does not, Your Honor.
Okay, then I gotta sign her attorney.
Can we approach Judge?
Right? Next.
I want a copy of that.
This is Lance. I'm trying to do this.
Girl, that's not on my phone.
I know.
What do you want?
Great.
Yeah, I'm trying to get prepared.
But check this out. You see how that 5, it was 695.
Don't mind checking my bill, you check it out.
Thirty-five.
Oh, she was. It's what it's called the extra day.
I know, I told her, say that. I just go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she.
Yeah, I see. Man, it's my granny, I've been talking about all of this. I don't know if I have, don't know. Mhm.
That's good.
All right, back on the record.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Ms. Nelson, I'm actually just gonna take your attention to specifically August 26th of 2018. Was there some sort of dispute at that location on that day?
Yes, there was.
Could you tell the court about what happened?
What happened that day? I was accused of stealing, I was supposed to come down there to look. Okay, I'll just get to the point where she came down there to get the keys.
All right, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Okay,
When you say, did you say she?
yeah.
Who are you referring to when you're saying she?
To the defendant.
And I see you pointing over there at Ms.
Okay,
Giles.
I
Okay,
came down there, I was down the street at the house down the street, 2 houses down from where the incident happened. Evidently, Ronald had sent her to get the keys.
Okay, no. You can't say.
I can't say their name?
Hold on. You can't say what you think someone else was doing or what their purpose was, just speculate.
Alright,
Okay, you can say what happened, what you saw, and what the defendant said. That's it.
alright, she never retrieved keys from me, which was my house keys,
Thanks.
okay?
what happened after?
What happened afterwards, I was called down the street, to look for a gun. That's what I was called down the street for, to look for the gun that was, I put in the garage.
Was there someone who gave you that direction to come down the street? To look
Yes,
for a
he's
gun?
not here, he's not here.
What is that person's name?
Ronald.
Did you go then to the location to look for a gun?
Yes, I did,
And is that a result of your conversation with Ronald Rex,
yes,
senior or junior?
senior.
What happens when you get to that place?
To get to that place, I was told to go in the garage to retrieve the missing gun that was in the garage.
At this time, were you aware that there was a gun in the garage without telling us how you know that or who told you that?
Yes, I was aware there was a gun, yes.
What happened after that?
What happened after that was, let's see. What happened after that? Couldn't find the gun. I found the casing, what did they put in the gun? The clip. I I found the clip, I didn't never find the gun.
Were you with anyone else at that time?
Yes, there's another person there in the garage with me, he was there before I got there, I don't know his real name, but another person was there also looking, but he was there before I got there. He was already in the process of looking for it during the time that I came down there.
What happens after you find the clip?
After I found the clip, he takes it and he goes and tell him that he found it.
So when you're saying he, are you referring to that person that
The
was
person-
already looking for?
Yeah, he's already looking for the gun.
Okay, we just have to be straight with pronouns, okay?
Okay.
So what happens after that?
After that, the owner comes in, which is Ronald Rex.
Senior or junior?
Senior. Says, where's his note?
And he said something. Based on what he said, what happened? What did you do?
I told him I didn't know. The note had already fell on the ground. If you walk into the garage, the door when it opened, the door hit off.
Okay, you gotta proceed by question and answer, because this is going all over. I need you to focus on question and answer. Hold on. Question and answer.
So Ms. Nelson, were you aware of, you were saying that the door opened and what happened after the door opened, if you know?
Drugs fell.
How did you know that drugs fell?
And I saw the bubble fall.
How did you know,
What was in them?
yes,
But I knew it was a bottle, that's what he keeps drugs in.
and is that a usual
Yes,
thing that you know that a Rondé Rex senior does?
yes.
What happens after the drugs fall?
After the drugs fall, I was accused of stealing them. Because they were found, one was found underneath the lawnmower.
Were you accused of this in the garage?
Yes, I was.
Who was the person that accused you?
The senior, the father.
A Rondé Rex senior?
Yes.
What happened after you were accused of this?
After that, he told me, bitch, my drugs are gonna come back up, and he's gonna sign my drugs right now, or I'm gonna kill you.
What happened after that?
After that, he just said to look for they step out of the garage, start talking. I moved the lawnmower, and there's a bottle of drugs. He tells me that I planted
Here,
it.
Ms. Nelson, I'm gonna stop right there. And we're saying they. Who is they?
He said
I
that,
can't take what he said.
okay,
Rondé. Hold on. That's why you gotta proceed by question and answer.
All right.
You gotta direct it.
And Your
I
Honor,
can't take what someone else said.
we had, in this case, it's a statement by a party opponent and a co-conspirator in this case. Ms. Ayers is charged under angry and abetting theory.
There's no conspiracy charge, is there?
There's no conspiracy charge, however, in People versus Stewart, which is 397, Michigan 1 at 8/1976. Admissions and statement of co-defendants are admissible against another defendant under MRE 801D2E, which is statement by co-conspirators, even in absence of a charge of conspiracy, provided there is sufficient independent evidence of a concert of actions between the defendants.
And that's further conspiracy.
Your Honor, that's going to be established by further testimony about what happened during the alleged assaults in this case.
And of course, there's my only position would be, and I was gonna deal with this on cross, is that my client is charged with assaults. And obviously, I'm not here to dispute whether or not the assaults did or didn't happen, that's for another day, but as it relates to Ms. Ayers. And again, I'm giving the Madam Prosecutor some leeway because, but for the pandemic, all three defendants would have been here at the same time, and I wouldn't be able to make these objections. So the only thing that I would ask is the statements not be utilized against my clients, but the court wants to take it for purpose of context as to what happened. I don't have an objection.
No, I don't do that. Either I take them or I don't use them. I'm not gonna take them and
I understand, Judge.
so you're gonna have to show the conspiracy.
I will, Your Honor, next, just by a preponderance of the evidence standard as well. Ms. Ayers, what was Rondé Rex's senior's demeanor like? What was his body language like when he is saying things to you?
anger, mad, upset.
What happens after Rondé Rex Senior is angry, mad, upset?
I think I'm mad upset, he slapped me upside my head.
What happens after he slaps you upside the head?
He slapped me upside and proceeded to cuss me out. He proceeded to want to know where his gun was. He proceeded to want to know why was his drugs on the ground, why was his drugs where they were.
What happens after that?
He cusses, he argues,
Is he arguing with you at this
he's
point?
arguing with me.
What, if anything, are you saying to him at this point?
I'm telling him to calm down, I'm telling him, what are you accusing me for? Why am I being a victim?
Okay, again, counsel, what does this have to do with conspiracy? What does this have to do with this defendant? You have to show conspiracy, otherwise I'm gonna strike it all of it. I'm just gonna strike it, I'm not gonna take any of it, I can't.
Your Honor, this is the beginning of, as I mentioned.
Whether or not this man was angry or not, how does that go to conspiracy? Whether he assaulted her, how does that go to conspiracy? I don't even know if she's present. You know, so, no, you gotta show the conspiracy.
Your Honor, may I ask her if the defendant, Lakeisha Ayers, was present during this conversation?
Yeah.
All right, was Ms. Ayers present during this conversation with Ronald Senior?
No, she wasn't.
During August 16, 2019 to August 28, 2019, did you see Lakeisha Ayers?
Yes, I did.
When did you see her?
At the house, he made her come in and clean up.
Yeah, yeah. No, you can't say what, you don't know what.
Okay, all right.
Okay, just listen to the question and answer the question that you're being asked.
Okay.
When did you see Lakeisha Ayers?
I saw her come in the house. I saw her at the house, I think that's all I said.
At 7500 Palmetto?
Yep.
What happened when she got to the house?
She proceeded to, clean up the blood and take all the evidence out of the house and she put it wherever she had to put it, which I can see her from the outside. To
All right,
clean
Ms.
up
Nelson, I'm gonna stop right there. What blood was she cleaning up?
mine.
What blood of yours was there for her to clean up?
I had just got beaten up by them.
When you say them, who beat you up?
The two sons, the father and son.
Was that the first day that you were there?
Yes, that's the first day I was there.
You said that she was getting rid of evidence? What do you mean by that?
Throwing away the stuff off the couch, the blankets, whatever that was on the couch anything that I was sitting on. She was removing it, sweeping and cleaning it up.
What was she removing and sweeping up besides?
Blood, what is that? The thing that they beat me with, that rope.
What rope that they were beating?
Billy club.
Did you have any sort of conversation with defendant Ayers while she was doing this?
No, I had a conversation with defendant Aries after the son took me back into the back room. She came back there, she cleaned me up. She wiped the blood, proceeded to wipe the blood off my face. That's when I had a conversation with her. I asked Lakeisha Renee Aries to let me go. Why is she doing this to me? Why is she helping them out?
All right, I'm gonna stop right there. And I'm gonna back up a little bit, okay?
Okay.
When you said blood, were you bleeding?
Yes,
Where were you bleeding from?
I bleed from my head.
Was that a result of the billy club being used on you?
Yes.
Who specifically was using the billy club on you?
Who physically used a billy club on me? The son.
When you went to the back room, was that the same day that defendant Ayers was cleaning up around the couch,
Yes, that's the same day.
right? What happens after you're telling her to let you go?
She told me that she couldn't let me go because he took a picture of her.
What do you mean?
He took a picture of
So
her.
who are you talking about when you say he?
I'm talking about Ronald. He took a picture of her.
Senior or junior?
Senior.
To your understanding, what was this a picture of?
The picture of her that I can't say I guess.
No, yeah, you can't say, no, I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
And so far, you haven't shown anything. You know, at this point, it's almost the opposite.
Ms. Ayers, or Ms. Nelson,
Let me make myself, let me clarify that. Let me make myself clear when I say almost the opposite. When she testified that she said he took a picture of me, and that tells the court that at that point, she may possibly be a victim in this case too. So you're not showing a conspiracy. And you haven't shown any conspiracy, not on her behalf. When this assault that she took, she wasn't there. What happened in the garage, she wasn't there. She came in and helped clean up whatever that room and try to help clean up this woman after she got been beat. That's not a conspiracy. So at this point, I'm not taking any, and I'm gonna strike the statements that have been given that were allegedly given by Mr. Ronald Rex, because it's not, I can't take them. Because you haven't shown a conspiracy with her. Unless you got something else that can show me that it is in fact a conspiracy, I don't have any choice.
understood, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Nelson, at this point in the house, when you're having a conversation with Ms. Ayers, did you feel like you could leave?
No,
Why is that?
because he was, the defendant was there. How could I leave? There are people in the house. There's no way I could get out of the house.
When you say the defendant was there, which defendant are you referring to?
Father was there. There are people outside in front of the house. There are people still in the house. I mean, there was no way that I could get out. I gotta get back there. I mean, I was bound.
Okay, let's talk about being bound. What do you mean by that?
I was bound. I was duct taped.
How were you duct taped?
Here
I'm
and
just indicating for the record, you just put your
my
wrists together.
my arms and my feet are bound. They didn't have to go over my mouth. They're not like that.
Was the duct tape wrapped around?
Yes,
Was it preventing you from moving your feet?
yes,
Was it preventing you from moving your legs?
yes.
How were you able to move, or were you able?
I was able, she helped me, she did come in and she helped me unloosen my tape. History there is she did help unloosen my tape so that I could bite the tape out and to get freedom, to get it loose. You know, she unloosened it a little bit so that I could, maneuver my way out of it. You know what I'm saying?
So, and I saw that you were making gestures with your hands too,
Yeah.
like, you were moving your hands to the tape.
Yeah. And I got free. I did get free, I got free. He came back.
Let me stop you there. When did you get free?
That night,
Which night?
the first night I got free. Finally, I got free. That morning, it was like, I don't know, it was in the morning time. She wasn't there. She had already gone. She came back the next day. And I was free then.
So are we talking about then the day after the garage incident?
Yes, yes.
What happened when she comes back the next day?
The next day, she came back to check on me to see was I okay, and I was already free because I had just came out of the bathroom or whatever. And then he found out I was free, and she had
I'm gonna
to
stop you there. When you say she came back, you're talking about defendant Ayers?
Yes,
Did you and defendant Ayers have some sort of conversation when she came back?
no, not really.
All right.
I asked her, no, I did, I asked her to call my uncle. I asked her to call my uncle so I could get the hell out of here. Call him just to let him know, call the cops to help me, to get me out of there. You know, I didn't tell her I pleaded with her to do that.
When she returned to the house, was it still found like you were talking about?
No, I was unbound. She returned. I got loose.
What happened when you got loose?
I got loose, I came out of the bathroom. She came back in the bathroom. He came in through the door and saw that I was unbound. He asked her, how did she get
Who
loose?
are you talking about that comes into the room?
Ronald Rex comes into the house.
Was there some sort of conversation between defendant Ayers and Ronald Rex Senior?
I don't know.
What happens after he comes in the house?
He comes in the house, he asks her, how did I get loose?
What happens after you became loose?
After I came loose, he came back there and tied me back up.
When he tied you back up, what did he use?
Duct tape,
Was it the same type of duct tape that he used?
same time. same time.
How did you feel how did you feel at that moment in time?
I felt violated.
Why did you feel violated?
But I mean,
Okay, hold on. Oh, that's Mr. Oh, okay, all right. I just saw somebody else on Zoom, so I want to make sure it wasn't on with you.
Thank you, Your Honor, for checking.
Okay.
What happens after your duct tape again?
what happened after I got up again, he put me back down on the bed she didn't leave out. And he left.
When you say bed, what room in the house are you in?
The bedroom that I was living in.
Were you in that bedroom the entire time that you were duct taped?
Yes, I was.
Was Ms. Ayers at that time preventing you from leaving the house?
You're leaving.
Yeah, because
Oh,
she
no,
was
no,
watching me.
stop. You can't answer that question. You can't answer like that. This is just in facts, not in evidence. So you can rephrase the question and or go into the circumstances around it, so she can answer. She cannot answer like that.
Ms. Nelson, I believe I asked you before Mr. Tuttle hopped on the Zoom how you felt when you were found.
That's like I said, I felt that was wrong that I was being duct taped where I live at, the place where I lay my head at. The people that I've been around for that time, I felt that was wrong and I felt violated. How else can I put it? I don't think that was right, what happened to me, of course not. If I could have left with my own free will that day, I would have.
When you say that you would have left on your free will, you would have?
Yeah, I was hurt, my hand was busted wide open, my head was wide open. I mean, my knee was open, my leg was messed up, I wouldn't have got far anywhere it went, I couldn't have got far. So,
Was there any point in time, if any, that you became free from the duct tape again?
no, only that one time, I got hurt. I slid out when the officers came to the house from the back room, I did.
Let's talk about that. On August 28th of 2019, were you still at 7500 Palmetto?
I think that is, yeah.
Were you still back in that bedroom that you were talking about?
Yes, I was.
Were you found?
Yes, I was.
What was finding you at that point in time?
I was duct taped.
Who duct taped you?
Ronald Rex Jr. duct taped me first. When I got loose, Ronald Rex Sr. duct taped me.
On August 28th, 2019, did you see defendant Lakeisha Ayers?
Say it again?
On August 28th, 2019, that day,
Yes,
did you see the defendant Lakeisha Ayers?
yes.
Was she at the house?
Not during the time that he was jumping on me, she wasn't there.
Okay, so let's get to the time that she was there.
Okay, so that's the last second. He was there both times. But at the time that the beating and stuff like that actually happened, she was not there.
She wasn't present in the room.
No.
Okay. What happened when she was at the house on August 28th, 2019?
I don't know, I don't know. Yes.
Earlier you testified that police came. Could you tell the court how that came about?
How the police came, there was a phone in my back room that I had, that I got from a friend of mine, that I got out, I put it on charge. Process of that night, because she had my phone, which was between Keisha and the area. She had my phone, she's the one that took the phone, my phone for me, out of my pocket, because she searched me down and got my phone from out of this top pocket of my jacket. And gave it to the defendant. That, I did have my own phone the whole time.
All right, so Lakeisha Ayers gave your phone to which defendant?
To, I guess, Rhonda, I don't know, I wasn't in the living room, so I couldn't see. I know she's the one that took the phone from me.
Ms. Nelson, so do you know what happened to your phone?
No, I don't, at the end of the day, she still had my phone.
This is the last that you knew.
Yeah, no, that's for a fact,
Okay.
when they came and got me, when I was in the front room, she still had my phone. Cause the officer got the phone from her.
So Ms. Nelson, what was happening with the phone that you said you had in the back room?
Oh, I had it on charge and then I finally got it off charge.
How were you able to do that when you were duct taped?
I was, that's how I got the phone. I had, like I said, she had loosed my tape and stuff. So I had that, my hands were like this or whatever.
Right, I see that you're gesturing for the record right now,
Yeah.
you have your wrist crossed in front of you.
Yeah. So I took the phone out of the plug, like this, snatched it out, and hit 911, and my head was laying already that way, slid it over to me so I can have the phone, so I can talk to someone my hands are still bound though. So I could speak to someone from the police department, and I asked them, could they hear me? And I told them that I needed an officer, and I was duct taped in the back room, kidnapped in the back room on 7,500 Palmetto, and they're gonna kill me any minute now.
Right, and then after that happened, did officers come to the house?
Yeah, shortly after that, they came.
What happened when officers came to your house?
They were at the door.
Which door?
They were at the one officer at the front door, and they asked, did someone in here call the cops? Did someone call the cops? He proceeded to tell them, no, they have their own house.
Who are you saying when you're saying she?
Lakeisha Renee Harry.
Judge, my objection would be, it would be hearsay as to what the officer said. Now, if there's gonna be a responsive statement, if she's saying that she heard that my client made, then that's different, but anything the officer said would be hearsay.
It's like that, but, I'll take that, your client responded that, no, they had the wrong house.
Yeah,
And Ms. Nelson, is it then your understanding that the officers were there as a result of your 911 call?
yeah.
What happened after you heard defendant Ayers say, no, you have the wrong house?
No, I slid up to the front door. I slid out of the room, slid all the way up to almost to the door, which I was like from here to there from the door. And I told them it's me, I'm the one, I'm your victim. And the keys are on, they asked her to open the door, she hesitated to open the door. So I think, my belief, they keep the door in and the keys are on the table.
Ms. Nelson, you can't testify about what.
Oh, my belief, I'm sorry.
You can't speculate what other people
Okay.
are doing, okay?
But they did, they kicked the door open and did it.
So, officer in the home.
Yeah.
At that point in time, are you still bound,
Yes, I am.
even though it's loosened at this point in time?
No, that was loosened, yes, that was loosened before that particular time, not the second time that I was rebound up. It was no longer loose.
Could you describe what you mean when you slid out?
I slid, it's like, oh, I can't show you from here, you know how you scoot on, hardwood floor? That's what I did, I scooted from my room through the hallway to the front.
And you had a conversation with officers at that point in time?
Yes, I told them from the door, the officer was outside the door, and I told him, I'm your victim. I'm the person that called the cops. I'm the one that told them to come.
And at some point, were you provided any assistance by officers?
Yes, he took a picture of me,
Let me ask you this. Was one of the officers that was there when at the door, was one of them the one that took pictures?
yes,
Your Honor, may I please approach the witness?
Sure. I'll stipulate the close command, I'm good with that.
Thank you.
And what are the-
Permission to publish the report to you, Your Honor? It's, People's Exhibits 1 through 4.
We're getting an example of the zone.
Yes.
Done.
Yes.
Your Honor, I do believe, and I know the court's preference is that usually pictures and videos speak for themselves, but would you have the witness describe what the pictures are to the court so it's established in the record? Or would the court just like to receive that? It's
been admitted.
All right, thank you. May I approach?
Yeah, let me look at the issue. Give them back and just go into that.
Ms. Nelson, at this time, what's going through your head when the officers are there?
I'm glad they're there, glad to be safe, glad to be alive still. I was glad they came, that's all. I was glad to get out of there.
When officers were there, did you have any conversation with them about any weapons in the house?
Yeah, I did. I told them there was some guns, there. I did. I told them there was their guns still there in the house. They wanted to check the garage. I told them that there's gun in the couch, underneath the couch, there's a pillow. I did.
After you told them that, was there anything that was done as a result of that conversation?
There's not object to relevance.
I really don't know because I can't say. I don't know.
Ms. Nelson, you need to stop for a minute, okay?
There's not object to relevance from that perspective, because I don't see how it's attributable, tied to Ms. Garrett.
Well, it's one of the things she's charged with, and so far they haven't been able to show anything.
Well, that's why, okay.
So, I mean, just because there's a gun in the house doesn't mean it's attributable to her.
Well,
Very well, Judge. So, you know, she can say what, we're allowed to cross-examine. You know, she said that she told officer that there were several guns in the house and where they were. Go ahead.
Ms. Nelson, what, if anything, was done as a result of that conversation with the officers?
I don't know what was done. I couldn't tell you. That's this morning. I was just glad to get out of the house. So after that point, I really don't know.
So at some point in time, you do get out of the house.
Yeah.
What happens after you get out of the house?
They just did a statement to the EMS. I
When,
talked to, 2 detectives.
when did you talk to 2 detectives?
I talked to 2 detectives in the house. They wasn't regular cops, they're detectives. They came in, they asked me several questions.
So you said that you talked to 2 detectives and then EMS. Where did EMS take you, if you know?
The EMS escorted me outside to the truck, and I got in, then they start, cleaning some of the blood, see how critical my rooms were on my hand, and wiping me up, and they asked me a couple questions, and then they took me to the hospital. That's all I remember after that.
At the hospital, were you treated for anything?
I was treated for stress, I was swabbed for mouth, because I died to this penis in my mouth.
The objection does that, all that occurred before Ms. Garrett arrived, so I'm asking that it not be received as part of her record.
Well, I mean, she can say what she had. I mean, but it has nothing to do with your client. I understand that. Right now, there's no association. Go ahead.
When you're at the hospital, not, talking about any specific diagnoses or anything per se, what part of your body, if you know, were injured?
My hand here. This hand?
And I see that you're sticking out your right arm and
Yeah,
your right hand.
yes. I had knots and skin cracks from beating in my head. My knee was badly bruised, I had a black eye, face was swollen.
Were you experiencing any pain?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of pain.
Did you have to do any follow-up?
Yeah, I went to therapy for my hand. That's about it.
So we're talking about right now, August 28th, 2019. Was there any other sort of contact that you had with defendant Ayers after that?
I didn't have answers from that at that house. I don't understand your question.
So did you see Lakeisha Ayers after the police came to the house?
Yeah, when they arrested, I seen her one time at the house, yeah.
Okay, so between then and now, have you had any sort of conversation?
Yes, I have, I had, contact with her.
You know, this certainly isn't relevant. What happened after, she left the house?
I can deal with it now, or I can deal with it after there's a ruling on the fine over. So if there's a violation of bond, we're gonna deal with it.
I would ask the court to deal with it at that time, but not take it as part of the evidentiary portion of the record for purposes of probable cause of these charges.
We're talking about something that happened after, we'll deal with that after.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you want me to proceed with questioning the witness about that? I'm
No,
sorry, I didn't hear.
No, we'll just finish the exam portion of it, dealing with the elements, And then, based on what happens there, we'll deal with the, any violation, just don't let it be, we'll bring it back in.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Nelson, when you were at the house on those 2 days and Ms. Ayers was over, what was your understanding of what she was doing to you?
I really don't understand that question. And
It is a bad question.
I don't know how to answer
It's a
it.
bad question. It's okay. I'm gonna ask you a different question, okay?
Okay.
When Keisha Ayers is over at the house on August 26, 27, 28, 2019, was she there for any reason, if you know, without saying?
You're asking her to speculate, and I'm not gonna take that. You can ask her, and you've already done that. You asked her what Ms. Harris did and what she said. Well, and that's it. I'm not gonna take anything about what she may have thought that was in this woman's mind. No. That's not allowable. So, what she did, what she said.
May I have 1 moment, Your Honor?
Sure.
So Ms. Nelson, you said on August 27th, so the second day, you felt like you weren't free to go. Why was that?
Objection asked to answer, she testified she was bound.
Yeah,
So,
she
I mean,
was duct tape.
So, Ms. Nelson, you said that you did eventually call 911. Why did you call 911 the second day?
Why did I call 911 the second day? But I had to wait till they're going to church. Yeah, no, power.
May I have 1 moment?
Yes.
Ms. Nelson, how can you just walk past this area and get out of that back bedroom?
Same
She
objection
asked to answer too. She said she was bound.
I wasn't
I don't need
able.
to stop. I don't need to hear the same thing over and over again.
Then
I got that.
Thank you, Your Honor. I pass it. Mr. Henson.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, my name is Adam Clements. I'm gonna ask you some questions on behalf of Ms. Ayers. If I speak too fast or ask you a question I don't understand, just let me know and I'll try to ask you a better question, okay?
Okay.
Now, you've had an opportunity to testify in this same court 2 prior times before coming in today, correct?
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you did that, you were making your best efforts to tell the truth. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, on direct examination, counsel asked you some questions about Ms. Ayers, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see Ms. Ayers actually come to the location?
Yeah.
Okay. Describe to the court how she got there.
She walked over there.
Okay. Who brought her to the location?
She walked herself from down the street to the house.
Okay. Were you bound at that time?
But I had seen her prior to that day, she had walked over, so yeah, okay.
But my question is, ma'am, that you were bound in your room at that time, correct?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you really can't testify how she got there, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know whether or not she came there on her own, correct?
But she was there prior
Ma'am,
to,
it's a yes or no. You
yes,
don't,
yes. Okay,
you don't know whether or not she was forced to be there, correct?
yes, that's true.
Okay, and on top of that, when you had an opportunity to speak with the officers, didn't you specifically tell the officers that these gentlemen told Ms. Ayers that they would fuck her up if she helped you?
Your Honor. Objection. Here's it.
Objection. Her statement. You asked about what she said and what she asked the officer. He's allowed to do the same thing on cross.
As a result of what those defendants told her.
She's allowed to say what she said to the officers. She's not saying what the defendants said to her.
Yes,
She's saying what she said to the officers. I'm going to allow the question.
Thank you, Judge.
You specifically told the officers that responded that these gentlemen told Ms. Ayers that they would fuck her up if they helped you.
Yes, I
correct?
did say that.
And those were your exact words, right?
No, I know, I didn't say that, I said that they would fuck her up, that's what I said. And I didn't say nothing about the last part, if she helped me, I didn't say that part.
Okay.
I know what I said, that's not what I said.
So,
I said yeah, that's what I said.
so the gentleman threatened to fuck her up, correct? You heard that?
Yes, I did hear him say that, yes, I did.
All
And
right.
I agree with you on that.
Okay, so, as it relates to you, but you asked Ms. Ayers to do certain things on that particular day, correct?
No, I didn't. No, I asked her to help me, I asked her to call, make a phone call for me, yeah, to help me, of course.
Okay, you asked Ms. Ayers for water, correct?
No, I didn't.
And you had an opportunity in this particular case to speak with investigators, correct?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, did you tell the investigator specifically that you asked Ms. Ayers for water and she got it for you?
Yes, she did bring me some water. Yes, she did.
Okay.
I did it downstairs here, I do remember that.
You had a bandage on your right hand, correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Who put that bandage on your right hand?
It wasn't a Band-Aid, it was like a foam, part of a foam or a t-shirt probably, that she put on, that she wiped it down. I did say that she helped me.
I understand that, but I'm gonna just clarify, she removed that from her body.
Yeah, and I did say the one, she helped me.
I appreciate that, man. I'm not trying to be argumentative. I just want to clarify some facts, okay? All right, and then, now, the prosecutor asked you specifically about what happened when the police arrived, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, now you testified that this is your home, you live there?
yeah.
Wouldn't you agree that the front door is a security door?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and in order to open that door from the inside, you have to have the key, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and at that particular time, Ms. Ayers made efforts to open that front door and it was locked, right?
yes, the key was on the table, sir.
Okay, but what I'm saying to you specifically is, the police never came through the front door, they ultimately came through the side door because they couldn't find the key, is that correct?
I can't say that, I can't say that.
Well, ma'am, you're in the living room at the time the police arrived, right?
But.
She doesn't know, counsel, she doesn't know.
Understand that.
Okay, I can't say that. I'm not gonna say that.
When you had an opportunity to call 911 in this particular case, you told the 911 operator that Mr. Rex was outside at the time you were on the phone with the 911 operator, correct?
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
You described the vehicle that Mr. Rex was in, correct?
Yeah.
And Mr. Rex was still outside when the police initially responded to the location, is that correct?
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah,
And instead of dealing with him, they only made efforts to try to come into the house, correct?
yes,
And while the police were there, Mr. Rex left the location, correct?
Your
yeah.
Honor, I'm gonna object to relevance.
On the road.
Well, because the prosecutor asked or attempted to elicit testimony that Ms. Garrett was untruthful with the police officer. What I intend to elicit in response to that is because Mr. Rex is outside and she was scared.
Well, I mean, that's a theory.
Understood.
That's pure speculation, but she,
Well, I mean, she's already answered the question, Judge, I'm done, but I mean.
yeah, but that don't mean I take it. I've heard a lot of stuff I can't take,
Okay, well,
and I can't consider.
you,
So, I mean, I can sit up here and allow you to keep asking every question you want to ask, but I'm not gonna consider it,
okay,
because I can't.
the court is not inclined to consider that Mr. Rex was outside the house when the police arrived?
How would she know that?
Because she's in the living room, Judge, you can see
She's in
that.
the living room, duct taped on the floor.
Ma'am, you're looking directly at the front door, correct?
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes?
Yeah,
Through that front door, you're able to see out into the street, correct?
yeah,
And Mr. Rex is outside, correct?
yeah, you can see it from across the street.
Outside.
Correct. Now, on this particular day, when you interacted with, you also testified that Ms. Ayers took a phone from you, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, but when the police responded, didn't you tell the police officer specifically that the phone is in my bedroom?
No, the phone, not that phone, the phone that I used, to call 911, it was in the back, it was back there. They could still see the phone where it was laying on the floor when I called. That phone, I wasn't talking about the phone that she had.
So the phone Ms. Ayers had was
It was
her.
my phone, that's in my name.
Okay, so,
That phone she had on her possession when they came to the house. She still had it in
Your
her
Honor, I'm
hand.
gonna object to speculation, lack personal knowledge here. Based on,
What's speculating what?
well, when witnesses testifying on direct examination, she says that she didn't know where this phone was, that Ms. Ayers took the phone from her, and she doesn't know where it ended up.
She knew where it was, they got it off of her, so the police took it off of her, while she was there. All she knew is that, from the point that what I got out of it is that Ms. Ayers took the phone off of her. And when the police came there, they still had the phone on her. So, I mean, there's nothing to speculate about that, that's what it is.
So there were two phones, one that Ms. Harris had, correct?
Yeah,
And
the other phone was a
Hold
phone.
on, wait for the question.
And the other phone that you actually called 911 on was left.
And the back bedroom, on the floor, you see it as it came in.
Would you agree with me that Ms. Harris was present with you when you called 911?
No, she was not present with me when I called 911. She was nowhere in the room with me at all. I begged her to call 911 from the beginning, from day one, from the first day that it happened. I begged her to call 911. I begged her to call my uncle, and she did not do not one of those things.
Now, you had an opportunity to hear Ms. Harris specifically talking with the police officers while all of you were in the room together, correct?
Would you say that again? I didn't understand.
At some point in time, the police responded, and you, Ms. Harris, and the officers are all in the front room together, correct? All right. And that's when you had the discussions with the officers about who called 911, correct?
Yes, I already said that I called 911. She claimed she
I
called
appreciate
them.
that, man. I'm just asking you that.
Okay, yes.
All right, and that's when you had the discussions about where the phones were actually located,
Yes,
correct?
it did.
Okay, nothing further, just thank you.
Any further?
Oh,
Hold on. All right.
yeah, well, my phone out.
That way sometime, all right.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and you said now, but please, don't leave, because we may have to call you back or something. Okay.
Okay.
Any further witness?
Yes, Your Honor, the people called, police officer James Kimbrough.
And you offer proof of what?
Your Honor, there was testimony at one of the, I believe it was Friday, right, seniors preliminary examination by police officer Roma, who recovered a handgun from the couch.
Okay.
And, police officer Roma is not available to testify today because he is currently out on medical leave. However, his partner was there, who is police officer James Kimbrough, who saw him recover the firearm.
What does that have to do with this defendant?
That it was recovered from the couch where,
What does that have to do with this defendant? It's not her couch, it's not her house. What does it have to do with her? And he testified that she was handling that weapon, that she used that weapon, that she touched that weapon, that she controlled it, possessed it in any form or fashion. The only thing he could testify from what you're saying is that he saw his partner recover it. Correct?
yes, and I argued constructive possession at this point, Your Honor, because this, the previous witness testified that.
You're nowhere close to constructive possession. Nowhere. No. Mr. Clemens, you want to stipulate that the witness was testified that he saw his partner retrieve a gun from the couch?
Yes.
All right, I'll give you that.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. And at that point, Your Honor, the people have no further witnesses.
That's,
No witnesses on behalf of the defense, Judge.
all right, argument or motion.
Your Honor, I'm gonna argue that to a probable cause standard, that I believe that it is count 3 of the complaint, unlawful imprisonment, the elements have been met based on the testimony of the complaining witness, Rita Nelson. Although there is testimony that Ms. Ayers was loosening the bands Nelson testified that the purpose of her being there was to watch her and to clean her up. She didn't do anything past the point of loosening up this duct tape in order to assist Miss Nelson in any way.
Gotta stop you there, and I understand his argument. You said the purpose of her being there was to watch her and clean her up. There's nothing on this record, nothing, that says her purpose of being there was to watch her. Clean her up, that's a whole different story. Well, watch her, no, there's nothing to say that she stayed around watching.
And she's there though.
She's there for a period of time, yes.
Yes, she's there for a period of time, and this witness has testified previously to that.
No, this hearing is for this defendant. I don't care what happened in any other previous hearing. It's not relevant. Your obligation is to show by probable cause the element for each of the offenses that this defendant is charged with in this hearing today. What happened before does not matter. And you can't argue that because someone says, this man wasn't there, neither was she. So how are they supposed to defend something that happened in another hearing that they had no part of? They can't. So no, you can't argue what happened in another hearing. Just this one.
Well, people have just moved to bind over, conflict.
Right. The argument.
I want to say something.
Count 4 is unlawful intrusion.
People are moving to bind over on count 1, then it's correct.
No, count 4.
And that's it.
So Judge, what I would submit as it relates to unlawful imprisonment is that she has to be. It's an interesting theory, it's an interesting argument. It's interesting that originally that my client was charged with kidnapping, and then there are different elements or different components when you consider that in relationship to unlawful imprisonment. But
That's why we have so many.
right, but there's nothing on the record that suggests that my client, one, I don't believe that it's established in this record that she had the ability to free her or to let her leave. She doesn't have the duty to call anyone for her. And it's undisputed on this particular record from an arrest perspective. Normally I have to put the witness on in order to make an arrest argument. And I appreciate the candor from the complainant, or I refer to her as a victim because she was victimized. But what she specifically states, which I think we already, all of us know, is that these gentlemen threatened her. And the witness was kind enough to admit that. She admitted that directly to the police, and she said, they said they'd fuck her up if she helped her, Judge. I don't know what she was supposed to do. She's under no duty and obligation to do anything but really to protect herself. There's no evidence to show that she knew that this was happening prior to going there. There's no evidence to show that she went there voluntarily to participate. Nothing. Now, obviously, we have our suspicions as to why she may have been there, but the court can make certain inferences, but it has to be inferences based upon the evidence. Well, in this case, Judge, I'm asking the court to conclude, based upon the lack of evidence, the court cannot just determine why she was there, how she got there, whether she was there freely and voluntarily. None of that. And this witness doesn't know, and she admitted that she doesn't know. So if she admits that she doesn't know, certainly my client doesn't have a duty to, an overt duty to do anything.
You want me to say what was in your client's mind based on her testimony?
Well,
Because of what she didn't know.
well,
See?
I understand that, Judge, but now,
She tried, and I believe she tried to be very honest about what happened and what happened to her.
but all of the testimony about what happened to her are things that other
Okay,
people.
well, let me ask you how you get around it. You said she has no obligation. I don't know that I can give you it. Because to have no obligation, if she was, as we call, merely present,
Right.
that's different. But here she's an active participant to some degree. Now, Ms. Nelson said that she heard the Mr. Ronald or the son threaten your client. Correct, right? So I can make basic some inference from that. But the problem is, how do you get around when the police now come to the door, doesn't open the door, and she says, no one made that call.
Judge, whatever.
That was her out. That was her opportunity. At that point, she in fact did have an obligation. And she didn't. And in not saying to the police, or in saying to the police, no, you came to the wrong house, no one here made that call, she became an aider and abetter. An aider and abetter to the unlawful imprisonment.
So Judge, the only thing that I would say, if the people are only moving to bind over unlawful imprisonment, then I would point the court to the third element where it indicates that the defendant did so under the following circumstances. Okay, that the person is restrained by a means of weapons or a dangerous instrument. We don't have that here that Mr. Harris is aware of. By weapons or a dangerous instrument. There's no proof here.
What do you call it? Billy called it beat her down.
She wasn't there when that happened.
Doesn't matter. She's an aider and abetter. It doesn't matter at what point you start aiding and abetting. She's not charged with the assault. She's not charged with the kidnapping. She's charged with, at this point, the unlawful imprisonment. So everything they did in relationship to that, goes to her too.
Respectfully, Judge, I would only indicate that for aiding and abetting, and if your instruction is clear, you have to have knowledge, Judge. You don't take on what happened previously or prior to.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, then.
Well, so let me give you a prime example, just to make things real clear. Okay. Let's say 2 parties or 3 parties agree to go in and rob the drug house. 2 parties go in, and because they're young and immature, they start using drugs and start partying and all this other stuff, while the 3rd party goes upstairs and shoots the drug dealer. Well, they didn't know about it. But they agreed.
And I
Do it.
And Judge, what I would say is different from this here is from the outset of the example, there was an agreement to commit a particular felony. Ms. Ayers never participated in an agreement.
Her agreement came in the moment that she said, no, it didn't happen at this place. We didn't make that phone call. That was her agreement. She now agreed to participate and be involved. That's when she came in. If she had kept her mouth shut, if she had opened up the door, it'd be a whole different story. I'd be kicking this so quick.
She couldn't open the door, Judge. It was locked.
She wouldn't open the door. She told them that this is not the right place. And she knew it was. She had her opportunity. You can't get around that part.
Well,
At least not for this hearing.
understood, Judge. I'll deal with it.
Well,
I wasn't saying I
and I cannot apologize for cutting you off, but you know.
We had a dialogue about it.
Yeah.
I feel it. I didn't take it like that, and I want to make sure the court knows, I didn't mean to disrespect you.
Oh,
I just,
Gotta make that. So, well, I mean, the court's already put it all out there, so based on, unless you got any additional rebuttal,
I don't, Your Honor.
all right. Based on the testimony and arguments, the court finds that, as to count 4, which is unlawful imprisonment, that felony did in fact occur in the city of Detroit. Probable cause to discharge this defendant. Should be bound over to Wayne County Circuit Court Criminal Division for arraignment on the information, which will be, well, we'll see. You got an issue as a bond. So I want to deal with that first. Then I'll tell you what the arraignment is.
Your Honor, I brought to Mr. Clemens' attention prior to the hearing that in my conversation with Ms. Nelson, that in September of 2020, she was approached by Defendant Ayers. Defendant Ayers advised her that Rodney Rex Jr. had a hit or contract out on Ms. Nelson. And to be quite honest to you, too, as an officer of the court judge, I know that Mr. Clemens at one point in time advised me that Ms. Nelson was dead. there's been a lot of things going on. A lot of, in my opinion, contact, whether it be third party or from Ms. Ayers talking to Ms. Nelson directly and trying to stab her.
Who's trying to stab?
Ms. Ayers tried to stab Ms. Nelson
When was this?
in September of 2020.
September of 2020. When was she arraigned?
I believe we had one of our first hearings back in July of 2020. At least as it relates to Ms. Ayers' case.
The original examination was May of 2020. Okay.
I was appointed or asked to take the case when that day by Deputy King. So anything that happened prior to, I don't know about.
I'm sorry, you said anything that, you faded out, anything that happened?
In May of 2020, there was a lot of recusals. The court called the firm and asked for someone to take the case, and we took it. So anything that happened before that, I couldn't speak to.
What? You want to bring it back in?
Sure, Your Honor.
I'd rather take it as one testimony.
Thank you.
Come up this,
Sorry.
I mean, Nelson, come up this way, please. Again, you're still under oath?
Okay.
Oh, you're under oath now, you can have a seat. I want to ask you a few questions.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, actually,
The court may.
no, wait, before you do it.
Okay.
If I got anything, I'll just chime in.
Thank you, Your Honor. Great, Ms. Nelson. Did you see Lakeisha Ayers in September of 2020?
Yes, yes, I did.
Where did you see her at?
On Hillsdale,
And where is Hillsdale located in location?
7 miles Van Dyke.
All right. What happened when you saw Ms. Ayers?
I was over there talking to a friend of mine on the block that is across the street from the house that she ran out across the street and coming over to running up towards me.
Did you
It's a
know,
fight.
let me ask you this, did you know that Ms. Ayers was at that house?
No, I didn't. I would have never known that she was at the house, but she ran out running towards me.
What happened after she came running towards you?
Keep her from trying to cut me. I
Hold on one
grabbed.
second. If you move your head, if you say one other thing, it's over. This hearing will be over right now. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You keep her from trying to.
Ms. Nelson, what he was asking? She came running over to you. What happened after that?
Keep her from thinking, because I know she used to keep a box cutter or some kind of knife on her, which I don't know if she had. I grabbed her hands to keep her from trying to hurt me or anything, and I fell down. She said, "You haven't been showing your dumb ass up to court. You've been lying on me in the courtroom and stuff, and why was I running from her and not showing up to court?" And then she said that Ronald Rex Jr. had a contract, $5,000 hit on my head. That's what she said to me that day. We got into a fight, but I didn't fight her back because the simple fact that she was pregnant with a baby and she was due to have a child. That's the only reason why I didn't. And then I was put off the block because she then told the people on the block that I was not supposed to be nowhere near her. So I was escorted, I was told to get off the block, and I got off the block, and I haven't seen her since.
What made you grab her?
But I know she likes to stab people,
All
so.
right, one moment, please, okay? when you were testifying before earlier, you said that you've known Ms. Ayers for a while.
Yes, I do.
And earlier, you just told the court that you knew that she had a box cutter on.
Yes,
Was that common for you to know when you knew
Yes.
prior to what happened?
yes,
Okay.
yes, I do.
Did you see a box cutter?
No, I
Did you
just
see
grabbed her
any-
hand.
Hold on, you saw her hand.
Yeah, I just had
Was
to
she
grab her
good?
hand to keep her from either coming down from her shirt.
Hold on. She approached you, she ran up to you.
She ran up to me from out of the house.
Okay, I got
Yes.
it.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Clemens,
No, thank you. Only argument, Judge. I get all the time.
thank you, man. Step down.
All right.
Yeah,
Yes, Your Honor, I know that defendant Ayers has been on the GPS tether, I believe, at the beginning of her arrest. And we've had a couple other violation hearings. In light of this revelation by Ms. Nelson, I am extremely worried about Ms. Nelson's safety. I understand that nothing had happened since September 2020, but this is serious. And these are co-defendants. Shows that Ms. Ayers is communicating, which by all means, but communicating directly with her co-defendant who has threats to kill the victim in this case. I only believe that we can remedy this by increasing the bond.
Judge, what I would say is, and I understand, I don't mean to besmirch or any of the professionals in the room or anyone that's attached to the case. And I understand that things happen when the file switches from one APA to another, or there's not direct contact recently with the complainant. But to spring this on me, and I understand Madam Prosecutor just found out today, but to spring this on me the day of, when I don't have the ability to even go and investigate where my client was on that particular date and time, which I would have had the ability to do. There's been no police report filed for this incident. There's been no charges filed for this incident. And we're talking about something that happened almost 6 months ago, allegedly. On top of that, Judge, what I would submit to the court is, Judge, the only violations that my client had as it relates to bond were the tether dying. And on 2 separate occasions, we had to get her transportation to go back to the tether unit to get a second tether. But there's been no allegations that she contacted the victim until today. No allegations that she's done anything that would suggest that she's interfering with the proceedings. Judge, what I find more disturbing is that I don't see in the record where any efforts have been made to deal with the bond violations on behalf of Mr. Rex. And I understand that this court is dealing with this particular issue now, but both of these gentlemen are out on bond. My client is an individual, Judge, who relies on family support. She's indigent. People are rallying around her to try to support her. Obviously, I'm sure, as the court probably inferred, she does have a substance abuse issue. So yet she's been on time. She's been responsive. The only issues that she had was she let her tether die. And at that particular time, we were all on board. The tether unit, the prosecutor, et cetera, were all on board that it wasn't a violation that should raise the eyebrows. And I agree that this is concerning too, but had it been properly investigated 6 months ago, we would have been able to deal with it. I don't know how I can deal with it now from a defense perspective. I'm asking the court to admonish my client and to let her continue to do what she's done for the past 6 months, which is be compliant, which is be on time, and let us proceed forward with the litigation.
Rebuttal.
Your Honor, I just want to note for the record that I just found this out today around 1:15, and I texted Attorney Clements immediately on finding this out.
And I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I just want to clear
Her motion, your argument, her rebuttal. I cut it off there. I don't go back and forth. Sorry. Okay. Mr. Rex, both of them, they're no longer my concern. You know, they were when I had control of the file up until their AOI days. Once the AOI date is, they're part of circuit court. So I have nothing to do with what a judge does with them over there and what they will do with them once they get this information if they don't already have it. I don't know. I know on my cases, if you violate bond conditions, you don't want to be free, period. Her bond conditions was no contact, period. No contact, and she ran out to attempt to assault the woman. Now, she didn't have a knife, she didn't have a box cutter, she didn't have anything in her hand, but her obligation was to stay away from Miss Nelson. Her obligation. Put your hand down. You don't want to say anything, because you'll just make it worse. Because it's going up. And the more you do, the higher it's going. At this point, I can't trust her to be out. I don't trust her to be out. Let's put it that way. She's gonna hurt somebody, or she's gonna have someone hurt this woman, and she's already been victimized enough. So at this point, mine is 100,000 cash.
I got a baby, please, I got a little baby,
Yeah.
please. Judge,
Your
please.
AOI is gonna
I
be
got a little
March
baby,
24th.
Judge, please. What's up? Please, I got a little baby, Judge. Judge, I swear, Judge. Miss Adam, what do we do? Miss Adam,
Just calm down.
please help me, what do we do, please? Come on, please, my little baby, Judge.
Please. Help.
Miss Adam!
Step out, man.
Miss Adam, please.
Can you mark the file medical? Well, that you can send. Is it called company? No, it's September. Right. So we're dealing with
Just write the council form, or just to write the council form.
Yeah, just council with please.
Can you call them, tell them to send a female?
I did already.
See, I need a female officer.
You want me to check? I already called them. They should have got me, I already told them.
Okay.
When you told me,
They sent that.
yeah, she said she was coming from somewhere.
Thank you.
That's hers, so you wanna take it, so attach the jacket on the back. Just get you the paper towels.
No, I know that ain't gonna touch unless I get something there. Come on, you get a paper towel like, I don't know. You think? I haven't seen him.
Ain't us do all the work.
Well,
He'll be here on the
Pay the
24th.
dues, see, that's what you're supposed to do.
He'll be here on the 24th.
I have no issues, not waiting them.
We're getting them resolved, and you know, the city has been pretty amenable too, actually, but we filed a federal lawsuit, but, we really just want to see the ordinance changed, because I think it's unconstitutional. And they need to, you know, that Ku Klux Klan sign that got posted, they need to address the language. I mean, they want to cite him, but then they didn't cite, you know, that gentleman, so they need to address the language.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did we do an order for the bond increase or no?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I just need to get a
Hold
copy.
on.
It was, right there. Oh, he was there.
Yeah, they were watching.
Hey, Judge, how you doing?
I'm okay, how you been?
All right, we was watching on YouTube. I just was checking in. I didn't have a suit on, so I just YouTube.
Oh, no problem.
Well, I had one on this morning, but you know how it is. We can not have on the.
You been okay though?
Everything's all right. I'm looking forward to playing some ball now.
All right, sounds good. I'm playing across the street.
Where
It's
at?
hard. At the GAC.
Are they playing again?
Yeah. Yeah, they got both.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's making us play in mask though, so that's
Oh yeah, that's man. I run around that. I went a couple weeks ago running around that track with a mask on. I almost passed out.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah, I don't know, my team over there, we use all our time out.
Right.
Y'all later.
All right.
All right. I see y'all.
Okay, take care now.
Yeah.
Hi, Ms. Perkins.
All right. I see it. I'll be texting you soon.
All right, I know.
You got a client, maybe?
No, he's at his sister's home in Vale Creek.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do, oh, you came in. I thought you was gonna zoom
Send the
in.
letters, said he can be here by tomorrow.
We'll have a warrant for the rest. Next minute. We call when you ready to.
Okay. Ready on DeAndre Coleman? Calling case number 2058360, the people of the state of Michigan versus DeAndre Coleman. Defendant is charged with count 1, weapons carrying concealed. This matter is scheduled for examination. Defendant has failed to appear.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Possibly what we have an officer in charge here, along with officers Christopher Smith and William Dillon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Robert Joseph on behalf of DeAndre Coleman. Your Honor, I attempted to communicate with my client, sending letters. I was able to talk to, have a telephone conversation with him today. He's in his sister's home in another city. I did get to speak with everyone and everyone did request an adjournment.
No, you don't get an adjournment. You're supposed to be here.
I understand.
You know, everybody else is here. Okay, just don't enter. Any bond previously submitted shall be forfeited and bond set $30,000 cash.
Thank you.
So, okay.
I'll we'll probably be walking in.
Okay. Let's make sure we're
Okay.
applying our law on 25th, March. All right, I'll close the file.
No, we can.
You ain't signing?
I just need you to sign me up.
Hey, you already signed in.
I am signed in,
He's gotta get out. Yeah. Take care, Mr. Jersey.
Understand?
You got it. Perfect.
Yes, sir.
The next one will be at 3:30.
I know. The attorney is here.
Yeah, he's been here for a while.
Bell's here?
You guys say one that's good.
Who? Bell?
The attorney?
No, the defendant.
He hasn't showed up yet.
Okay. We have the attorney and.
That's Mr.
The
Oh, that's
defendant.
Mr. That's Mr. Dupree. Yeah, no, Dante Bell's not here yet.
And Miss.
Now, your 345 is ready.
They're here.
They're here.
Oh, let me go. You got the name?
I gotta see if I got mine, that's the problem. You signed in on that? Yeah. Earlier, you signed in. All right. Hey man, you got all that. What you gonna dry your shirt off, all that? Over to you. It's all wet.
Stop it, man.
Calm down, man.
No. I knew you called and told them to send a female,
Yeah, 'cause you
and
told
they
me
sent
to.
the elevator up by itself with nobody on it. I was like,
Let's go ahead and try to break. That's what it was.
no, I don't do that.
I know,
No,
right?
I need a female up.
Especially, she goes through all those.
Yeah.
Because Lieutenant Gabby answered, I said, we need a female. Take me on the street. She said, okay, I gotta wait for it to set.
She could have came up.
Yeah, she could. So one thing, I didn't know she had guilty.
Yoshi?
Guilty.
Gilkey. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't see him when we came back after,
Somebody told me that she, her and her brother opened up a car.
yeah, that's what you said. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Though. I mean,
No, we would have been good.
This one's a show.
You're right. Oh, where you been hanging out? You been next door?
No, I've been working just, Archer's.
Oh, John's next door.
Yeah.
How's it going
Yeah.
there?
It's going good.
He's so good, she asked.
What?
He's so good. Yeah. I want Austin Pollock down here because he's the man.
No,
He's a.
but I get to mess with Perry. Did you see Perry today, Kitty?
I saw him too. You saw Perry today.
I didn't say that.
Oh, I thought he said, you saw him say no.
No,
You
I didn't.
downstairs?
No, she was talking to the judge.
I
She
thought
said,
so good.
yeah, he came downstairs and,
Yeah, I seen him.
Yeah.
Get in here. I was wondering where he was at.
oh, yeah. Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he said he fell or
The
something.
leg went through a porch or something like that.
Yeah.
But he
He
good
said he
now.
had knee surgery.
Knee surgery and Achilles. What's that? No,
ACL?
no, it's not the ACL.
Oh, but, it's the,
Start something with a
medial,
T.
what is it?
Could have been Achilles.
Tender.
Is it a tendon?
Oh, this.
Medial
I had
meniscus?
the same thing, but mine healed. It wasn't as.
That must have been the.
Meniscus.
That's it, meniscus tear, yeah.
That.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
It's on the side, right, Judge?
That's right.
Right,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had it too.
I had that too. Playing Evo.
Oh, man, it would burn sometimes.
Nah,
It would burn, and then sometimes I'm trying to drive with it, but I just let it heal itself.
You
I
told
guess
me,
it wasn't
you
as
told me
bad.
to heal, but maybe I played too.
You don't do deep knee bends, do you?
I do this all the time.
No, I mean.
Deep
down.
bends.
Oh, no.
We ain't talking about deep. We ain't talking about ballerina. We're talking about what you call it? What?
Now,
A curtsy.
I do bend my knees a lot because I have a little mind surgery. So I'm always squatting down, fixing stuff, all the hot stuff. I know when you fix up your house, you was down on your knees a lot too, man. You be like, okay, I gotta get up.
Way
now.
to bring it back. I'm glad you brought that back because that was kind of tough.
Yeah, that was good. The sink goes lower than that.
No, but even when I'm just standing like this, we got a bad habit of having, when we standing for a long time, my knees is pushed back right now.
You're locked out.
And yeah, so you really shouldn't stand like that. You should kind of be
Yeah,
like
that's
this.
what the doctor
Because
told
you
my
take,
daughter.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I have to remember that.
Don't you- I think they say, don't you get like you're gonna faint, say if you're standing in a wedding party, if you lock your knees, you feel like after a while you can faint or something? Is that, I don't know.
I don't feel that way, but it'll come to my attention that I got a lockdown and I'll do like that. Yeah, sometimes I'll just start doing toe raise.
Yeah.
Raise.
Loosen up.
Keep the game going. I'm
You're not gonna let that one go,
58. I'm 57 years old, so I gotta keep them.
You get
blood
close.
flowing.
You want the birthday month coming on.
Young man.
Yeah, he's young. You can still play.
Sorry.
You can still play.
Yeah, right, bud. Man, it's tough getting old though, ain't it?
Stuff be hurting for no reason
I
sometimes.
know, man.
Hey, yeah.
Just to let you know it's there or
Get out
something.
of
I
bed
don't
and
know.
like, what the devil?
Nerve pain.
It's like,
Okay, I know you there. Okay.
let you know that you ain't Superman anymore.
Yeah. Yes, weird, a lot of those things that judges doing, like working plumbing underneath sinks and stuff. It's tough to get down there, number one,
Right on.
to get down there. Two, it's tough to see, if you don't have good close vision, and three is getting back up.
Yeah, you gotta have good
You
light.
know?
I understand.
I had this guy was helping me with my bar in the basement. He was getting us. I was getting so jealous. I said, how you do that? He was way, I was like,
You got way
he
down
about
there.
your age, but I'm like, man. You could tell he never played sports. Because there ain't no way he's going to bend like that. He was just down real low and a real good squat for a while. I was like, oh, my back was hurt. This thing. Woo.
I got a real good extra padded pair of knee pads.
Oh, that's what you, yeah. You got to have
Yeah.
a knee pad. I got you. Yeah, you do.
I got to too, because if I get on my knees, man, that's gone. It's no,
Yeah.
I don't have too
Once
much
in a while,
cushion
try
and
to-
stuff.
Yeah, well, I don't need to get down on my knees. I'm like, oh no, all kind of things. Yeah.
Well, I've learned that, sugar causes inflammation,
Oh, yeah.
which causes the pain.
Is that
If
right?
you can cut back on your sugar intake, you can do away with some of that pain and stuff.
Hey, what's that blinking,
Or
man?
you take
He
something.
got a body knee or something?
This phone.
Oh,
It's my tether.
it was like blinking.
Certain herbs you can take to help reduce the inflammation.
Which ones are there, Judge?
The ones I told you about the other day.
Is it the black seed oil or?
Which ones?
I take, oh, I don't can't remember the name of
You can tell you take it today, say, oh.
It works then.
It does work.
Yeah.
Put them in my smoothie.
Oh, okay.
Judge makes, yeah. That's information. There's certain foods you get.
Chlorella
Okay.
and asparagana.
I seen that. I had this book on plants,
Corona.
herbal plants,
Yeah.
but as medicine.
And then maca and soursop. Use those, put that in it.
You said sauerkraut?
Soursop.
Oh, okay.
Soursop.
Oh,
And then
okay.
also, moringa.
I heard that.
I've heard of the first two. I've been trying to get over to Zerbals. I'm so busy, you know, and see if they got some of that. Does that come in a pill form or?
No, all that was one time in powder form.
You just throw them in
So
there. I
you-
see
They
them.
have it at the vitamin store in the powder form?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about the vitamin store, you might have to go to a,
Herb store, right?
herb store. Like there's one over
Is-
on, 6 Mile and Turner. Which is between Wyoming and Illinois,
Yeah.
called, Queen something. Herbal Queen, I think.
Herbal Queen.
It's like a nice little shop right there.
Right here, right?
Okay. Got everything.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look at that.
Yeah, because that's the way you get.
Queen herb, you said? Queen herbal?
Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta have it in mind. You can't have it in pill form if you're gonna put in your smoothie.
Right.
Unless you just take it, you can find out maybe you have it in pill form, so you can pick it up.
I like the powder form better.
You make smoothies? Make your own?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I had one this morning. Sometimes I fix them at home, sometimes I stop at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. You said Queen Herbal? Queen Herbal.
Showing pictures that match.
That's all right.
Not showing on the store. Oh, Queen Herbal.
That's what you probably said. You take
All
anything?
specialized powder.
You take any type, yeah, that's probably what he's talking about, yeah.
Nope, I don't take nothing. I don't wanna take the medication I take.
What kind of medication, right? Is it for
My
inflammation?
arthritis.
Yeah, no, see, you need to find out what herbal stuff to help you with that. See,
Huh?
you should find out, I'm gonna have to talk to my wife, find out what herbal stuff can help you with your arthritis.
There is no,
Can I get my cheat sheets?
you what?
The investigators report,
You know what, I meant to ask you, do you want, see, some reporters don't want them.
Oh, I rely on them.
Oh, why didn't you say something? I don't
Because you
think I
normally
ever
just
gave you
do it.
Have I even gave you any of them?
Except for today.
Oh, okay.
Well, you
I
have
think
to
because
give.
she doesn't like me today.
No, I swear I probably just got you confused with somebody else.
Yeah, no. I appreciate them.
So, okay, because I like to give them as soon as I do them. I mean, we do them.
So I found the Queen Herbal product.
So this is
I'm surprised it's not giving
the one we just did.
Okay.
6 miles.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I just remembered, I said, okay, she doesn't like me today, I'm okay.
So I can do
No, do you remember the other one?
And then we had the other case.
At least call, I'll call
I
her.
don't remember.
Because
I
the
have to
number
look at my
there.
docket to tell you what other case we got.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. It's gotta be one right here. It's
Not
gotta be one of these.
our area.
Because these are my
Yeah.
finances.
That's 100% homemade.
Kenneth Williams. Kenneth Williams. Oh, here it is, right here.
Okay. This is what it is. At least you know what it is. Find out where you got
Sorry,
it. Maybe
But I
it's
think
over
we're one
here.
of the only clerks that does give out that sheet. A lot of them don't give them to us.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a.
It's a lifesaver because it's got all the spellings and all that.
You know, because you.
Right, it should help.
It does.
Yeah, I figure it does.
That way I don't have to try to chase down the prosecutor to get spellings.
Right, and when is this
Right on.
name
Mhm.
on there?
That's cool. Yeah. You know, it gets me, these defendants,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was really about to cry.
you worried it's gonna
Yeah.
get to you when she start crying?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, because, I mean, I understand she violated, but from a mother.
Yeah, I can understand, yeah, what you said.
And then she broke out, I had a small child, I'm like, oh my God.
But you know what's a
That's
bad
just-
thing too, though? You have to not let no one, you know you got a child. Don't let no one cause coming to you. You gotta protect the child. The best way to do it is don't,
Don't deal with anything.
yeah.
Stay away from them.
Even though that just, I felt a little, I ain't.
Yeah, and then it was the fact that it happened 6 months ago.
That's the thing, it did happen it hadn't happened
So
recently.
and I looked at her file, she had 2 tether violations. Why weren't they brought up at them points?
That's you too? That's you
2
too?
tether violations, but the prosecutor didn't bring them up, them 2 times. And the 2 violations happened after this supposedly September incident.
Right, true that.
Because this happened in September, right? That's what was stated. And she had a tether violation in October and a tether violation,
If this would have been,
November.
see, and then, like he said, when that happened, he wasn't even the attorney.
Right.
He could, after he got one, he said, you can't do that. I know how Perkins is, he probably said, hey, you cannot do anything while you're on this stuff.
Yeah.
But see, and
And
you're
see
right.
why he's had the case, she hasn't did
Right,
anything.
so the thing is, that's what he has to more articulate. Since I've been on it, it's just been the case.
But he did, I mean, he
Oh, yeah.
did say it. I mean, I guess it's just really so much you can stress in the fact. Probably didn't.
You know I didn't, because he was thinking about that before.
He was all that, right?
His boss, I know. It's like you don't take nothing serious. That's what he got stuck on. I know that.
Mhm.
You don't take nothing
Yep.
serious. You come in here, you looking like that.
And then I find out this happened. If she had. I'm telling you, I'm going to that. I'm going to that. Oh, yeah, I mean, your appearance is your first judgment. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just it, just like an interview. You go for a job interview,
You can be
you come in
smart.
with a t-shirt, what do you think they're gonna look at you? They're gonna look at you
By the
crazy.
way, their mindset's gonna change, even though you might sound like you know what you're doing.
Right, you might have, you might have went to law school and all that and, got, I don't know, all types of stuff, but you come in a t-shirt, cause you know a lot. No, but
So
you,
what do you think we supposed to?
I don't want you to
Think we,
represent my company.
right, so I think that we love that kind of stuff happening. Yeah, she,
And
yeah, cause it didn't
see,
happen. Say something like that.
Various trim levels and packages. Also right here,
Sexy
it
as that.
appears to me this truck is wearing.
I want to see that.
Tire all season, so this potentially could
What's
be
your
a
name?
more of
the
luxurious
court,
truck.
yeah.
Okay. Hey, Michelle, did you see a T-shirt?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think you said that, you brought that, I forgot about that when I first met him.
I mean, you come to court, that's what you got,
Yeah.
that's what you pick out to come to court.
It was like guys coming with marijuana leaf on their shirts. And they had a T-shirt saying that.
But then she may thought I got a good attorney, but still, I
Yeah.
don't care.
Why didn't they tell her?
Huh?
You tell her.
Tell her.
They should have told her to dress right too.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, but
Cause
we
they kinda
talked
got,
about that the other day, they should tell her
and
come.
it really got me because it's
Judge, you said Queen Herbal?
they should have been on
Oh,
top.
Herbal Queen.
Herbal Queen.
Herbal
Yeah,
Queen.
because see, if they send
Yeah,
out
but
notices,
it's a nice little
which I'm
quote, too.
quite sure they
All
do.
kinds of things.
I hope so.
You can see
I'm
the
quite
driver
sure.
is.
And then there's another girl.
Now, listen,
That's
let me
different.
show
The
you-
one I got,
Oh,
that was
I already took it down.
really good.
Oh, I got
Was,
Well, you keep lock drop the fuck. Oh, I know Mr. Dupree.
I had
an
one,
African herb woman.
I had one, but
She,
I,
Did you, your client here?
she's a little hard to catch because she used to have a.
Let me get the, you want,
Thing at Eastern Market, you know how they have little stands?
Yeah,
And that's what she was doing.
okay.
And she did it there, she did it at a couple other places. They were having, they had
a bill?
farmer's market over at.
Where you said you're gonna work, so.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
This is what I think I'm
every
gonna start
Wednesday,
doing.
Wednesday or Thursday, and then she would be there.
You can make some money. How many shirts you would have sold this week?
I would, oh, you know, oh,
It did, they
So I
next
see.
door doing
that's
that?
it,
Put
but
those
even,
in a smoothie,
what,
especially
what you call it,
play basketball.
Jesse,
Go home,
what you say?
I make a smoothie up.
Put
Yeah,
it-
man,
Put keep smoothie.
that way I can just read.
You know, drink that, and the next morning I can get up and good to go.
Now, what is that
Otherwise,
called?
if I don't, then I'm getting up and I'm like, or limping around, in pain.
What's that?
Huh?
Which one is that you take after you play
I
basketball?
think all of them. I think all, 5 of them, put them in.
Look,
Smoothie with,
see, this has been known since I.
kale, and then.
Oh, really? You sent it out?
Banana,
To, when they,
So we have
pineapple, strawberry,
PCCs, and they
cherry,
get the exam day. I do know,
blueberries,
Really?
blackberries.
but I don't,
You know,
I don't highlight it, but I'm thinking maybe I should highlight it.
yeah.
What about the, I'm
So
talking
they
about the
make
powder.
sure, it catches the eye. you know.
Right,
Is
because
that
they
the-
could
that's the
just
first
read
one
it and
you
just
told me
look
about?
at it, not pay
They
attention.
looking for other stuff, not even thinking about.
Right, but this is what they need.
All the ones I told you about, you come in a powder.
Okay.
Or not, and then I could just sip.
You know, the maca, the soursop.
Let your heart be your.
I could just leave it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going.
The powder.
I seen all those, I ordered this book. Natural
What do you need?
Healing.
See how it works.
Natural healing plants, and I saw,
Right, I'm
Three.
good.
sometimes
3 and 2.
you get one, they
Yeah.
can do two
Because not
different.
women don't really do that.
Yeah.
Probably like 3 and 2. Yep, that's
Do
what
what
I
you can
do.
always do, look
I
at your,
like,
your list of people coming in. Your examinations, the females or whatever. And see what kind of cases, sometimes
Okay,
females.
so let's look at tomorrow's.
Just to tell you, because sometimes females don't have those things. I would never.
You gotta do it, man. I don't, medicines that they give you at the hospital and stuff, there's too many side effects. I don't wanna take nothing. My next is, I gotta do something, I'm looking for something for my natural, for my cholesterol. My cholesterol. Blood pressure is fine. But it's just my cholesterol. So it's this book, you know, cause I'm diabetic. In this book, they told me sauerkraut juice
You know, some of the, a couple people go in there now.
Sauerkraut juice and
I
lemon.
was first go, you maybe purchase about 3
And that's just natural, take
See how
2 teaspoons of that.
extra
and then
large.
it'll Keep,
Well, I put
that
like
keep my sugar level down.
medium.
Keep your sugar level down. I gotta get back, I gotta go look at that book, cause I've been trying to, I bought the sauerkraut. I got that in the refrigerator and stuff, but I wanted to get this other stuff in the power, that first one.
It's not many at all.
It's good for inflammation or stuff, but,
Nothing good information.
They don't really have. Right.
I've been drinking that a lot,
But
but I had to be careful. It still has,
And that girl,
it's not bad sugar, but it still has like 25 grams of
Right.
sugar in it.
Right.
But that's good.
And with me being diabetic, I still have to be careful with that. But cherry is my favorite fruit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Smart. But you don't want to do that anyway. Valerie? Okay. I'm gonna, finance. Yes.
Is he in the hall?
This is waiver, this is gonna be a waiver.
In fairness to the lawyers, it wasn't brilliant.
Okay, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, you got your sign down.
It's not ready to go.
Sorry, Judge.
You can talk to Blair Mooney later.
What's it, what?
He's here.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Excuse me, man, what case are you on?
Oh, Valerie, sir?
Okay.
It's on the 345.
345, so you can sit outside. When you come in, you'll sit right there. It's time for me to hit. It's time for me to hit. What do you think about 741? I'm not wrong, that recent.
Oh, okay.
742. So when did you got this a while back, this stuff you had it a while.
I got it a while back, I wasn't using it.
I know, I get it, because it's no store, it's just, she comes out, so.
Yeah, but yeah.
Now, you say it's starting to.
Now, yeah, now.
What made you go get it? That's pretty cool. What made you go get it?
Yeah, we went to that, on the market, they were there.
Sure. Over.
Well, companies, businesses, you know, that goes to other people have honey.
That's
Not
good.
natural.
Where we bought some around, we bought some, I think, when we went to that place up north.
Oh, yeah. No,
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Dupree.
How you doing?
Got your green tie on today, huh?
I do.
All right.
Even Irish.
I had to change it, to be honest. My mom called at like 10 a.m. and was like, "Are you wearing green?" And I was like, "No."
Oh, my goodness.
She does get a green shirt.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, you got a green shirt on. Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
I don't think I own anything.
Me neither.
See what, they were having some Irish breakfast.
Oh, I think I do got one green shirt.
The work with COVID, this is a day I usually try not to have court scheduled on.
All right, they have it the next day.
We ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Calling case number 2058369, the people of the state of Michigan versus Dantes Dale. Defendant is charged with count 1, weapons, dangerous weapon, miscellaneous. This matter is scheduled for examination.
Yes, moving on across the board, looking for people. Judge, we have our officers here ready to go.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. May it please the court, Matthew Dupree, P80132 for Mr. Bell, who stands behind me. Mr. Bell, state your name, please.
Dr. Smith. Your Honor.
Your Honor, at this time, let's see if we can waive the examination.
Any objection on part of treatment? No objection, thank you, sir. Mr. Bell, you understand you have a statutory right to preliminary exam with statement showing that probable cause crime and probable cause you have something to do with community crime. You
Yes, sir.
understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anybody promise you anything or threaten you in any way to get you to waive your right to preliminary exam?
I didn't, I'm sorry, I didn't hear
I said, did anyone promise you anything or threaten you in any way to get you to waive your right?
you. No, Your Honor.
You're waiving your right freely and voluntarily after having the opportunity to talk to your attorney about it.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And you signed the waiver examination form?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will find that you freely and voluntarily waive your right to preliminary exam as found over the Wayne County Circuit Court Criminal Division for arraignment on the information, which will be March 31st, 2021 at 9:00 a.m. Bond continued. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, man.
See you later. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Take care.
Officers,
Man, you know, hey, take care of yourself.
Don't drink too much of that green beer.
We shouldn't need any more because we already got Mr. Fowler and his attorney.
Yeah, so, yeah, we don't really want to, just gotta take these on. Yeah.
Is Giles here?
He is.
Yes.
Is the attorney here?
Yes. I think Mr. Moody might be waiting.
Oh, for his.
I'm just gonna wait on it.
You know, one officer is signing in for Fowler. I don't know if it's right.
It just, I think he's the YC. Man.
Oh. Huh?
Any big plans for your 30th birthday?
I wish I was 30.
That's a good one, Judge. I was like, you 30? She look good with 30.
No, I think we're going to dinner. That's it. Ain't much you can really do anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, that's true, yeah. It's something.
But I do think he's trying to install a new radio in my Jeep. I think that's what he's trying to do. Because I caught him in my Jeep. He was like, I was just checking something, and he was looking where the radio all under. So, yeah.
That's a bad thing, Judge. My wife, I can't sleep none while she's on. It's like, damn, what you? Why you like, what you waiting on?
But I did it on accident.
Oh,
I just
okay.
so happened to go back out into the garage, and he was in
Oh,
my
okay.
Jeep.
Yeah, because she would have said the same thing. You know, I'm looking for something. I thought I dropped out in the car.
And then today he was like, hey, do you mind driving my truck? I want to do your oil change.
Very nice.
I talked to him, he might be a little slicker than that.
Right. Yeah, he's not good. He tries, but he's not
As soon as
good.
I get everything.
I'm the slickster.
You know, hey, this is dear. I'll take care of you.
We ready on,
I got you. All right.
Alan?
I'll see you, sir.
Mr. Moody,
Yes, ma'am.
we still waiting?
Just to be called.
Oh.
Ready to go.
Oh, I didn't know if you, okay.
Yep.
Calling case number 2057166, the people of the state of Michigan versus Timothy Ballard. Defendant is charged with count 1, weapons, firearms, possession by a felon, count 2, weapons carrying concealed, count 3, controlled substance, possession, cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic less than 25 grams. Count 4, count 5, weapons, felony, firearm, habitual offender, fourth notice. This matter is scheduled for examination.
Yeah, Your Honor, we have a present this afternoon.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Edward Bell on behalf of Mr. Ballard, P number 61827. We're ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Yeah, just a preliminary matter. So first off, motion for a mutual order of sequestration with the exception of the OIC. Should the OIC arrive, Brother Johnson, Corporal Brother Johnson, would ask for her exception.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, any witnesses testifying today at trial, anytime in the future must be the courtroom or be denied future testimony. With exception to the officer in charge,
And we do have a sealed register of action, but I don't know, we were talking beforehand, I don't know if there was a slip in this or not.
Yeah, because I didn't get a copy of that, Your Honor, and I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if I can get a copy from the prosecutor. During discovery, I didn't get it. I don't, that's what I'm saying.
That's the raised sealed copy, Judge. It's on the Odyssey, which is a public.
Exhibit 1, pardon me, that's exhibit 1.
This would be exhibit 1, yes. Okay. You're okay with that?
Yes.
Stipulation. Read that into the record later, Judge.
You read it into now.
Okay, very good.
We have a stipulation, right?
We have a stipulation, yes.
Right.
This is a register of actions, case number 05-011-997-01-H State of Michigan versus Timothy Lamar Ballard. Date of birth is 3/27, March 27, 1966. The case of, well, I'm sorry, there was a plea entered on, sentence entered on December 13, 2005, breaking and entering a building with intent pursuant to statute MCL 750.110. Honorable Wade McCree. And that would be the one case that was stipulated to, Judge, that I have here. I have another, but for the purposes of exam, we can do that. And that will go to the account of felony possession. All right, and a fire. Thank you. Corresponding Officer Malala.
M-I-C-H-A-E-L, M-U-L-L-A-L.
Stop up there. Raise your hand. You swear or affirm, so truth or truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
So we got.
All right, you can put the doors, you have a secret question.
Yes,
sir, can you?
Good afternoon, sir. Your name is record.
Mark Maloney,
And Mr. Malala, you are employed where?
with the Detroit Police Department, 9th Precinct.
Okay, on May 13th, 2020, at about 9:32 in the evening, were you employed by the Detroit Police?
Correct.
Were you not duty police officer at that date and time?
I was.
All right. And did you, by chance, on that date and time to go to the location or in front of 15098? 7 Mile Road?
Correct.
All right, is that in the city of Troy County Way?
It is.
All right. At that date, time, and location, were you working for anybody?
My partner, who's Officer Kyle Ronald.
Okay. And the reason you were at that location was what, sir?
We were responding to a police run where a person with a weapon.
Okay. And this came over the radio dispatch?
We were dispatched over radio, yes.
Now, with regards to that run, what did you do?
As we arrived at the location, we observed the individual that was described by radio walking from the front door in the direction of his automobile. I exited the vehicle, asked him to stop with his hands up, given the nature that he was armed with a gun.
Okay.
At that time, he stated that there was a gun in his front right pocket.
Okay, hang on just a minute. You went to this location, you were in a scout car?
The fully marked scout car in full uniform.
Okay. Your partner was dressed how?
Full uniform.
All right. And were you driving the scout or not?
I was the driver of that scout.
Okay. And when you arrived at this location, you said you saw an individual matching a description?
Correct.
All right. Is that, strike that. At this time then, what did you do as far as approaching this person? Did you get out of your car?
But I immediately stopped the vehicle, exited the vehicle, addressed him, told him to put his hands up. He responded, he complied.
Okay.
He stated there was a pistol in his right pocket.
Okay. Is the person that you approached at that time, in this courtroom?
Correct.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you tell us where that person is in the courtroom or what that person is wearing?
He's sitting on the bench, he's wearing a gray suit, gray or black suit.
Okay. For the record, identify Mr. Timothy Lamar Ballard. All right, so you approached Mr. Ballard, and you indicated that when you did approach him, exactly what happened.
Once he turned and saw it was us, it was the police, he put his hands up and stated that he had a pistol.
Okay. Now, what happens after he stated that?
After that, I recovered the pistol from his right hand pocket.
Okay. Do you recall what the pistol was?
Generally, it was a small silver and black semi-automatic pistol.
Okay. And what happens now?
My partner asked if he had a CPL, to which he stated no. He was placed in handcuffs.
What happens then?
He was then placed in our car and he was arrested for CCW.
Okay. Anything further that goes on now in this case with this gentleman in the back of the scout?
Nothing further in the back of the scout. Once we got to the jail, on a second, more thorough search, we did find a small baggie, what appeared to be, and later tested positive for crack cocaine.
Okay.
Okay, suspected.
Suspect.
Okay, suspected, okay. Do you know who recovered it?
I did.
Okay. Where did you recover it from?
I believe it was in the front right pocket as well.
Okay. And, you marked this in evidence?
Correct.
Okay. What happens after you mark it in evidence?
It was taken in narcotics.
You know who was tested?
Yes.
You know what the results of the test?
Not conclusive, I did not.
Okay, all right. Okay. So, sir, when you collected this evidence, narcotics, what do you ordinarily do with that to process it, the evidence?
We contact narcotics, they'll give us a lock seal number.
Okay. And is there any paperwork that needs to be done?
An interrogation form, yes.
Okay, anything else with regards to narcotics?
Outside of the report.
Okay. And did you get a lock seal folder number?
We did, yes.
You did? Do you recall what it is?
I do not, that would have been my partner's report.
Okay. Now, do you know whether or not with any of these suspected narcotics, how you get this to the lab? How you get it tested?
It is transported by us to downtown.
Okay. And with regards to that narcotics, does anything go with it at all? It's in a lock seal?
It's just in the packaging, I believe we carried it in a latex glove.
Okay. Do you recall what the suspected narcotics were packaged like?
It was a small, what appeared to be a little plastic bag, very small.
Okay. All right. And you fill out a form requesting a lab service?
My partner did, yes.
Okay. All right. And do you know anything about these forms, sir?
Not all sir.
Okay. Can you recall whether or not there was an incident number given?
I believe that would be the same report number as we took for the main report.
You believe or you know?
I do not know for sure, sir.
You do not know? Okay. Do you recall filling out a request for lab service?
I believe my partner filled out that, sir.
Okay. Now, when you do this, do you know what forms what information has been placed on these forms?
Not offhand. Not without looking at it.
Does that refresh your recollection?
What's the relevance? You didn't fill it out.
Well, Judge, I wanted to ask him this as to who the complainant was because.
Doesn't matter, he didn't fill it out.
You didn't fill the form out?
I did not, sir.
Do you recall the incident number in this case?
Not offhand.
Is that indicated anywhere in your report, you know?
It would be yes.
The approach, Judge? I'm handing you one, half by level with text on it. You recognize it?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
This is my supplement to the main report, sir.
Okay. Is there an incident number on there?
Yes, sir.
Know what it is?
200-513-0337.
Anything else you did in this case, sir?
No, sir.
Thank you, nothing further at this time. Well,
Okay, good afternoon. I wanted to know, when you approached Mr. Ballard, was Mr. Ballard driving the vehicle or was he doing any driving?
No, sir.
You approached him outside of the vehicle, is that correct?
That is correct.
When he told you he had the gun on him, was the gun loaded?
It was not, sir. There was a loaded magazine, there was not a bullet in the chamber.
Okay. And at all times, Mr. Ballard was cooperative with you, with all of your requests or questions that you asked him.
Yes, sir.
Did you have suspicions that, I won't ask that, was a PET taking of, Mr. Ballard's, alcohol level on the scene?
No, sir.
Was a data master done on Mr., reading done on Mr. Ballard at the detention center?
No, sir.
So there's no, no indication or documented, evidence of what his alcohol level was at the scene
No, sir.
or during the process. So the only indication of alcohol and that he was intoxicated was from your opinion or your suspicions regarding his alcohol content.
That's correct.
You mentioned at the detention center, you further searched him and found a small bag of cocaine. Suspected. Hang on. Okay, that's not fun. But anyway, suspected cocaine. Did you see how much was in this bag? Was it just one piece? Was there a couple of pieces of suspected drugs wrapped in the bag? What exactly was in this small bag that you took out of his pocket?
It was one small baggie of like white powdery substance.
Powdery substance. It was not rock or crack.
Correct.
Okay. And regarding the chain of custody or the process involved in determining on whether or not the substance in that bag was of suspected drugs, you are not aware at all of that process that was involved in determining whether or not this was suspected drug was actually a cocaine.
It was in my possession until the point it was handed over to the narcotics officer, who immediately tested it.
Okay. So you have no knowledge about the chain of custody involved in this process?
I had custody until the narcotics officer.
Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Young.
Judge, at this time, we would ask to admit the request for lab service, under 76811B. It indicates here, Judge, that on May 13th, 2020, incident number 20051303337, the defendant Timothy Ballard, location being at 150987 mile. The article submitted was one Ziploc of cocaine, and the preliminary analysis conducted was done by Trunar, came back positive for cocaine of 0.2 grams as packaged. This was conducted by Sergeant Larry Meinke, badge 51409 on May 14th of 2020.
Yes, Your Honor, I would object due to the fact or the basis that you have the document there, but it's unclear as to the chain of custody on how it was arrived at this suspected cocaine was actually cocaine.
That's the analogy.
Oh, okay.
And now to say how it was arrived at, the chain of custody officer said, I kept it on me until I gave it to narcotics who tested it. And that's the chain of custody. I mean, the
the analysis is brought in, you know, they don't have to bring in the person that did it. Not anymore.
Right.
So,
Okay, then, so, all right.
All right,
That
wait a
would be
minute.
my- yeah,
all right, thank you. Any further witnesses?
No further witness from the people, Judge, thank you.
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Judge, at this time, the people in motion to bind over count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 and 5, 4 goes to the count of felon possession, 5 is to the possession.
Yeah, you gotta, what's the connection? So it says used in the felony firearm, and a weapon in possession, she committed with possession of cocaine.
Right.
And, I mean, normally it assumes that the weapon is part and parcel of committing the offense.
And you talk about the weapons offense, Judge?
Yeah.
Okay. I would, well, the statute allows the charge to go with all felony being conducted while having a firearm.
All right.
So we would ask the court to bind over all 5 counts, Judge. The court's here to hear the testimony of the officer.
All
And I would object, Your Honor, to the argument of the felony firearm, that they're stretching in terms of trying to connect it and charge Mr. Ballard with it. There's no evidence of, that was taken at all on Mr. Ballard, in terms of alcohol level or drug level.
So they need that. Why would they need that at all? He's not charged with anything. He's not charged with drunk driving. He's not charged with use. He's charged with possession of.
That's where it seems like they're trying to connect one of the felony firearms is relevant to, and I'm just saying that shouldn't be, that should be dismissed, one of them anyway. Just stretching, trying to charge him with 2, on the same incident, in the same process is not, I think one of them should be dismissed, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any brief rebuttal?
No, Judge, I guess this is, I understand where the courts will go with it, that's certainly. It's that they have that in the possession of that felon.
Right. All right, court, having heard the testimony and arguments from this as follows, that on May 13, 2020, starting at 9:32 p.m., that police officer Mulaney was on duty, went to the area of 15098 7 Mile Road, responding to a police run, a person with a weapon. Reaching the location, he observed the defendant, who matched the description given, walking to an automobile. He approached the defendant, who was in full uniform and driving a scout car, told him to put his hands up, and he turned, looking in his direction, complied, put his hands up, and then stated there was a pistol in my pocket. The pistol was recovered, had no CPL, was arrested for CCW. Upon the second search, upon arrival at the DVC, found a small packet of suspected cocaine, was then transported to be tested. There was a preliminary analysis done, consistent with incident number 2005130-337, which tested positive for cocaine. Then it is charged and count 1, weapons, firearm, possession of a felony. There was also a stipulation regarding a register of action, that with a raised seal that showed the defendant did have a prior felony and had no right to possess a firearm. Count 2, carrying a concealed weapon. Count 3, a controlled substance, possession of cocaine. Count 4 is felony firearm as it relates to the felony possession. And count 5 is felony firearm as it relates to cocaine. Well, I may not feel that the defendant was carrying the weapon to in any way protect, the cocaine, but that's not the issue at this point. The issue is he had the cocaine, which was a felony, and he was carrying a weapon. another felony added to it. I don't really have any choice. At this point, the court finds that the felonies enumerated in the complaint warrant did in fact occur in the city of Detroit. Probable cause of this charge is contended and found over the Wayne County Circuit Court Criminal Division for arraignment on the information, which will be March 31st, 21, and 9 o'clock a.m.
March 31st,
Yes, sir.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. How you been? Been all right?
Yes.